I can't recall the last time I was left so speechless after an anime episode. That's not going to stop me from talking. I know that sounds contradictory, but don't worry, it's not. With that said, hello everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another one of our weekly To Your Eternity discussion videos. Today we're going to be talking about episode 5, Those Who Follow. But before we get to the video proper, quick reminder if you haven't done so yet, to hit that subscribe button, ring that bell, set notifications to all. Let all of AniTube know that you're here. Let's shoot for 100 likes on this week's video before the end of the day. I believe in you guys. You can do this. Let's make that the like goal. Without further ado, though, we're actually gonna go ahead and jump right into this week's episode. And I feel lied to. I feel lied to. I was watching this week's episode, right? And I was watching the OP. Because I had seen people say that the OP had spoilers in it. And I was like, does it? Because I never really noticed, right? We've talked about it before, that I was like, I guess it kind of does because, like, it's bizarre that we see a grown-up March, right? So it spoils that March survives. So manga fans are liars. Manga fans flat out lied to us. Because March is dead. And I'm not okay. My girl March deserved so much better than what she got. Like, March deserved the world, right? Like, she deserved her dream. And I normally can't stand kid characters in anime. They bother me. But March had always sort of just charmed me from the beginning. Like, I just thought she was really sweet. You just wanted to see her grow up and be a mom. And, like, you know, you just wanted to see her be happy. She's a sweet, abundantly charming kid. Like, she's just this bundle of joy. And now she's dead. And it wasn't even like she gets... Like, Hayase notices that... Like, Hayase has this moment where she's like, okay, I can shoot Perona off the thing, and that'll get me closer to Fushi when they're in, like, little cart. The fact that March has the courage to see what's happening and be like, okay, there's one thing I can do. And March jumps in front and gets clipped for Perona, who spent the entire episode doing her best to basically have the reverse happen. Perona would have much rather herself go out and save March, because that was her whole plan, was bring March home, right? Like, March was always good to her. She was her family when she had no family, and all she wanted to do was bring March back home to her parents, and it didn't work out. And it's very brave, I'll say. Not just in universe. I mean, like, this. I'm saying Yoshitoki Oima is very brave with their writing. The fact that they could have done anything else in that situation, they could have had the happy ending, which I had assumed because, again, the OP led me to assume that March was actually going to grow up just fine. But no, instead Oima makes the bold decision to kill March, and it's kind of crazy to me because I feel like the show is radically different now. But then again, the show was radically different after episode 1, right? Like, this is Fushi's journey, right? It's gonna be this sort of, like, longer form Mushishi type show, right? When I say longer form, I just mean the stories are gonna stretch out over a course of episodes, but they are going to be this ongoing path that Fushi's gonna be walking. It's kind of like Kino's journey, but darker and sadder, which is saying something. But there's something about losing March, and it's not just that she's a kid, because again, like, this is gonna be very cold, but, like, I don't care that she's a kid. I care that it's March. You know what I mean? Like, it's sad regardless, because, you know, they're a kid. You don't want a kid to die early. That's, you know, they should get to grow up and grow old, like, right? They shouldn't die as kids. No kid should die. That's upsetting. But that's not really why I'm upset. The reason why I'm upset, and I shouldn't say upset, the reason why I'm sad is because it's March. It's our girl, right? Like, we knew her dreams. We knew what made her scared. We knew what made her happy. We knew what made her cry. We knew all this stuff about her, and now she's gone. And they did such a good job at making March so just endearing, right? Like, Rei Hikasaka performed March with such, like, exuberance. Like, she was such a fun, like, happy, motherly character, despite how young she was. Like, she really did have this sort of infectious energy where you wanted to see only good things. But that's not the case. And it broke my heart seeing her die and then be in that other world where the boy was, the original boy from episode 1. When he goes and sees his family, it's that sort of afterlife where it's this sort of beautiful version of what you want, where everything's all happy, right? It's sort of the supernatural, like everybody's own little slice of heaven type thing. But March is aware that it's a lie when she realizes Fushi's not there. And she looks around and she goes, oh yeah. And then she sees reality, so she's having this out-of-body experience, watching what's playing out. And she sees Oniguma, right? She sees the big bear. And it's paralleling the fact that, like, when March gets mad at Perona for trying to take a piece of the bear, it's her being upset because she feels like the bear didn't deserve to die in the first place, and she's really kind of reflecting on herself. So the fact that the bear shows up at, like, this in her out-of-body experience with her to see what's happening, it's as though he's saying, like, you can, like, the fact that she essentially would leave our plane with the bear, like the fact that the two of them likely rode off together in the same way Perona and Fushi rode back to their village, like, it's a sort of, like, parallel. And it's, I don't know, there's just the metaphor with the bear, the scene of her reaching out for Perona not to do what she thinks Perona's about to do, and then Fushi's hand sort of moves with her and stops her, and you see Fushi, like, get emotional for the first time. You see the effect that March had on him, and it's heavy. It's very heavy, and I'm really going to miss March's involvement in the show. Puron is still around, though. Like, the Obajan, she's still around, which is cool. Because I was like, I don't want all these characters to suddenly just disappear. Because the episode ends in such a way where I'm like, I don't think we're going to hear from these guys for, like, a long time. But, yeah, it's leaving March behind is definitely... is doing me a sad. It's doing me a sad. And, yeah, again, shoutouts Hikasaka for her friggin' performance as March. Absolutely nailed it. And shoutouts to the director as well, Murata, who, again, I don't really like. Masahiko Murata, I believe I mentioned this in my first video. If I didn't, my apologies. But Murata, I only really know as an episode director for some Naruto stuff and some Tower of God stuff. And if you don't know, episode directors don't really get a lot of say. It's, like, more so the series director whose impact you really feel throughout, like, the entirety of the show. You do get some episode directors who have specific flair, but with for the most part, the episode director just kind of listens to what the series director is telling them. So I had never really seen Murata's vision of a story before, and I'm very impressed with the direction of this show so far. I think that they're adapting Oima's work pretty well. I can't speak to that, actually, now that I think about it. I'm just saying that their combination with Oima is making for a very emotional series. Because, again, March is not the type of character I usually would find myself endeared to. I probably would have found March annoying in any other show. But March, yeah, this hurt. This hurt. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I did cry. I was this one stung. But you know, it is what it is. March isn't the only character that had some stuff happen, though. Of course, we also get everything with Perona. Perona I felt really bad for her. Because honestly, like, when I was watching this and we see Perona realize that March is gone, and she kind of does this last little, like, oh, this, you always make the best food, and blah, 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 like, trying to pretend like March is still there. That hurt. And it sucks because, like, you see that the cart's on fire at one point. Like, you see the smoke coming through, and you're like, wait, what is that? And then Perona takes off her jacket and is, like, using the jacket to put out the fire on the cart because they're clearly being attacked. And she's still just talking to March, like, what are you going to do when we get back home? Like, are you excited for this, that? Like, what do you want to do when you're a grown-up, March? Like, she's just trying to keep March calm in the face of all of this scariness. And she's, like, becoming, like, Captain friggin' America, like, with the shield, where she just catches 3 arrows like a friggin' champ and is, like, on the side of the cart fighting it out with one of those soldiers. And she was really doing well. It was only the fact that Hayase got a pot shot that ended that fight. But Perona did really, really well. And I'm just so bummed. Because, like, I really felt for her. Like, the way when March passes, the way Perona was like, what am I supposed to do? Like, I can't fathom a reality where I just accept this. I can't accept this reality. And that was me watching the episode, like, I refuse. I can't accept this. Right? Like, I'm sorry, Oima, but you need to retool your story, because I can't accept March's death. Like, I can't. And Perona is definitely the audience surrogate in that moment, because she says the same thing. Like, I cannot accept this. And she goes to end it. And when, like, there's nobody should ever be in that situation. Nobody should ever have that, be in that suicidal mode. But without condoning in any way, I understand how she felt that way, like how she ended up in that position, right? Because her whole existence with March has been her, like, reflecting on the time that her own sister jumped in for her for this stupid friggin' ceremony that's not even real. And all she's wanted to do since then is protect March. That's been her sole mission. And then she fails. And not only does she fail, March died for her. Like, March jumped in the way, so once again, somebody Perona cares about, deeply, truly cares about, dies for her. I can't imagine the emotional toll that must have taken. Like, again, they're not real, just in case anybody's like, yeah, poor Perona. I'm like, well, don't forget, she's lines on a page. But the emotions felt by these characters, the emotions that Oima is able to bring out, that's real. And, like, everything from the way Perona is written, the way she is directed, her voice actress, Aya Uchida, it's so intense when you see her, like, really, like, she has, like, the sword and she's ready to end it, and the emotion is so strong that, like, I was so shocked and enthralled, I couldn't even really cry at that point. Like, I was still kind of emotional. I had, like, the teary eyes, but I couldn't, like, I had already cried at March's death, but I couldn't cry again watching Perona go through this because I was too on the edge of my seat. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, the intensity was too much that I couldn't even really bring myself to cry. I was just nervous. And everything with Perona, especially by the end, when she shoots Hayase's hand, and the friggin' bitch is still alive. I was like, yo. Because, like, Fushi gets a good swipe in on her, and she's still up. And I'm like, oh my god. And I worry about the village, because when Perona shoots, she shoots her through the hand, and Hayase turns and smirks. And they go, you got her. And Perona's like, no, I missed. Because she was aiming for the head. So it's I don't know. They're gonna come for either Perona or the whole village, and I am very, very concerned. I don't know if we'll even find out what happened for a while. Like, I really don't anticipate we'll even find out, like, this season. I hope we do, but I'm not betting on it. As for Fushi himself, like, Perona basically tells Fushi, like, that he has to leave. And she's like, you understand what I'm saying, right? Because, she tells him, like, you have to run, and your life's not given to you, you earn it. So go earn it. Like, just don't let them use you. Like, you have to go. And he gets this face, like, this sad face. Like, he makes, like, this whimpering face. And it broke my heart. Because, again, he's been so emotionless, the show thus far. He's clearly felt things. Like, we've seen, like, we know clearly he cared about the boy. And we know that he cared about March. But to see him have that moment of, like, March is gone, I have to leave Perona, and once again, I'm just running. Like, once again, I'm on the move with no direction. I don't know where I'm going. We know he ends up with Piora, and so at least it's a familiar face. But, like, it's a lot. Like, you see him just sort of dialing in everything, and it's weighing on him. And he gets, like, I gotta say, I have to give my man credit. When he turns into Oniguma, which we did know was coming, when he turns into Oniguma, he gets this big, like, swipe on Hayase. And I was like, yeah, Fushi! Like, I was like, hell yeah, dude. That made me happy. Seeing Fushi, like, cut Hayase up. Because, like, you see her later, and she's got these two big marks, like, clean from, like, her abdomen up to her eyes. It's, like, brutal. I am sort of dumbfounded why they didn't kill Hayase there. And I'm sure people are gonna say, like, oh, but March wouldn't want it. I'm like, yeah, but, like, I'm sorry, but no. Hayase should have died there. I would have. I'm like, even if March's ghost was like, don't do it, JoJo, I'd be like, you're right, March. What's over there? Just, like, very quick arrow to the head. Like, March, what's that? Immediately kill Hayase and be like, March, somebody, look, it's tragic, March. Somebody shot Hayase while we weren't looking. Oh, no. Like, no, she should have. Hayase, like, either Fushi or Perona should have killed Hayase, because she's gonna be a whole ass problem. I just feel it in my bones, especially with that new redesign. She looks like a friggin' monster. It's not really a redesign, it's just an addition, but, like, yeah, she looks absolutely terrifying. But Fushi, like, being this in this position where now he's on the run from Hayase, he's all alone, and we hear the Beholder, it's Kenjiro Suda, who just, like, Suda's voice is just so good. But we hear Suda say, like, that he being with his mother, in air quotes, and then parting with her taught him, like, human emotion. And now he parts with her to leave on a new journey. Or I suppose he's going on a journey with her, and we see him turn into March. So, does he need to be there at the moment of death? Like, do we know that, or can he just turn into whatever? Because was he... I mean, I guess he was there for March's... No, he wasn't. Like, he was fighting Hayase's troops when she actually died. He was there when she gets hit. I don't know. I don't really know how Fushi works. And it seems like next week he's going up against somebody who the Beholder says, like, could threaten Fushi's life. So I'm like, wait, what? So, like, some serious stuff is going to go down. And I'm very curious what the absence of March is going to do to Fushi. Because we've already seen him leave somebody he truly cared about once. And he didn't even get to spend as much time with the boy as he did with March. So I can't imagine what this absence is going to do to his mind. I'll admit I'm worried about my boy. I'm worried about Fushi. It's going to be an interesting couple of episodes. And it's funny, too, because I had said, like, when is Fushi going to get a break? And everyone's like, ooh, bad news. So I was like, okay, now I get it. But yeah, that's it. That's all I have to say. So with that said, everybody, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, don't forget to boop that up snoot, share if you care, leave a comment down below, and of course, make sure that you hit that subscribe button, ring that bell, set notifications to all, let all of AniTube know that you're here. And of course, before we go, as always, I want to give a big thank you to the good folks in the T Squadron. Look at these beautiful people. Look at all these beautiful names. And hey, if you would like to join these beautiful people, there are 2 ways to do so. You can either hit that join button right beside the sub button, or for just a single $1, you can check out that Patreon link in the description and have your name floating past the screen here. So if that sounds cool to you, go ahead and hit that Patreon link, or for just a little bit more, you can check out that join button. Either way, it is super appreciated. So once again, a big thank you to the good folks in the T Squadron. I'm still at a loss for words. I don't even know. I just don't know anymore. Okay, bye.